All right, we are live. What's going on, traders? It is Antoine Farrar back with another trading video with Digital Goats Academy. Welcome to our live analysis. Well, live analysis slash live trading. Obviously, I'm live trading on my end, but for the YouTube community, this would just be an analysis. And if you choose to take anything that I'm looking at, right? So let's go ahead and get started with Euro USD. Now, if you're tuning into this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But also, if you've been following us, you know we primarily focus on indices. I said I was going to do the community justice and start discussing Forex pairs. So as you can see right here, this is actually something that I gave out to my community, Euro USD. Now, Euro USD, we were expecting it to buy up, especially after that major bull move price made. What was this? From January 18th to January 27th. So basically, when the market broke out of this consolidation area on the weekly, trying to see what's the best. Yeah, the weekly. That's what we were looking at. So price was consolidating, broke up out of here, created that fake out. Well, I wouldn't say created a fake out, but pulled back, shallow pullback really, and in retrospect to this candle right here, and we should continue bullish. Now, we had already drew up an analysis, and price actually dove a little bit deeper than what we expected. It actually came back to this resistance line that we drew back. So that's where it started creating, I mean, making its support structure at, where you could see clear as day right here. So basically where the support structure at is where our stop loss is at. So this week price broke out of this area, hit our first target. Obviously, we know, especially when it comes to foreign exchange, like, it breaks out of an area, we should expect price to return and test that area and then continue in that direction. So the fact that it's been creating rejection around our entry, not to mention another form of structure, we break it down to the 1 hour, we have support right here, two dips. All you need is two dips to basically validate that price is either bullish or bearish, or price is respecting this as support, or price is respecting this as resistance. So in this sequence, we broke up out of here, price created consolidation. I did think that we might continue from this area and then push up and then drive back down, but I mean, foreign exchange pairs are a little bit more simple. The only headache was how long price was consolidated in this area. So this once was support. We pushed back up here to respect this resistance and then shot the market down. Not necessarily saying that it's selling, but in order to find support, we see that happen very common, right? Very often. But also, when you're looking at this support, we got to look at the start of an uptrend sequence. So you can see right here, this was the previous high based off of this structure right here. So price one, two, broke up out of there, created this dip, and I think that was the lowest point. Yeah. So created this dip. This is the test of the previous high unless price breaks lower than this. You know what I'm saying? So as far as we're seeing right now, price is actually buying up. Let me look at the currency strength meter, matter of fact, real quick. So as far as like the currency strength meter, I know you can't see my screen is what I'm looking at. You can go to livecharts.co.uk or just type in currency strength meter on Google and it should pop up this website and you can use this. The only thing about the website is that it's not in real time. I guess if I'm explaining it, I need to go ahead and show the community. Hold on. So you see right here above, this is the website, and you can see the strengths of each of the currencies that it has displayed here. So if you're trading something outside of this, then you'll have to use another resource. But here you have the euro, the British pound, the United States dollar, the Australian dollar, Japanese yen, Swiss franc, New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. I forgot what NOK is. I think that might be Korean's currency. I don't know. And I think this is Denmark's currency. I forgot what NOK and DKK is. But anyway, the major currencies that we're looking at. So as you can see, the closer it is to red, the weaker it is. The closer it is to green, the stronger it is. As you can see right now, the British pound is very strong compared to the dollar. The euro is kind of like just as weak as a dollar. So we're seeing that happen in real time with consolidation. Now, the only downside to this website is that it's not in real time. So you'll constantly have to refresh, not like every 2 minutes or 30 seconds. Just give it like, anywhere from 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Or if you don't use it as meticulous as like other traders do, when you walk away, just know that when you come back, this is what's going to be displayed, or the last iteration is what's going to be displayed. So go up to your refresh or reload page and make sure it's still showing you what you want to see. Because obviously price is still moving live, so these strengths could change if price is changing in direction, right? So as we can see, the euros just like we just saw, that's what's reflecting what we just saw on that website, is that price is kind of consolidating. The euro's slightly weak, the dollar's slightly weak. So right now they're consolidating, but we are basing it off of the last moves. And again, as long as price stays above this area, it could test it again, but we don't want to see a candle just drive through. A candle drives through, that might spell disaster, that the market is actually trying to push down further. But I don't think so, just because we had that bullish move. So I'm not even going to entertain the idea. The only thing that I would look at is that the market may be just trying to test these areas, because these are Forex pairs. They spend a lot of time in the same zone before they buy up. And this is the beginning of the year, still, you know what I'm saying? I know we're only into the second month of the year, and only the second week. So still a lot of data that hasn't been filtered into the market yet, which, and uncertainty because political figures, or, figures that can influence the market based off of what they said, i.e. Donald Trump or anybody from the Federal Reserve, you know what I'm saying? That stuff hasn't been like fully implemented into the market yet. But that's what I'm looking at for Euro USD. Now, we did take a trade from UJ. I do think that the dollar is still overall bearish. And we can kind of just discuss what happened yesterday real quick. So remember, opening bell, if you were trading yesterday, opening bell, we did push out an opportunity for us to take a sell for USD JPY. And then opening bell yesterday, or no, it was, what news was that yesterday? There was a lot of non-farm payroll news that got filtered into the market. So all price did was test our entry, or close back to our entry. It didn't even test fully into our entry. And it happened so fast, I don't even know if for most people it even registered, but it did create a gap. So on a smaller time frame, price did create a gap. And I think the highest time frame I saw was 15 minute. No. Where did I see that at? Why is it not showing the gap anymore? There it goes, right here. See that price created that gap. Was the push up, sold off, and then it started testing this gap, which I figured it would have done that. And then if we push this gap all the way to the right side, now this is the 5 minute time frame. So I mean, I don't try to, guide traders to like look so deep on a smaller time frame, but we can spot the reversals. But also when we push it to the right, you can see that price is testing this gap. You know what I'm saying? So it's respecting this gap as what? Resistance. And then if we go back to the currency strength meter that we were just looking at, what did we mention before? We mentioned that the dollar was bearish. We didn't look at the yen really, but I know that the yen was overall strong. So utilize those resources. That's easy money if you ask me, especially if you're more patient than other traders. I'm not as patient as most traders, so I'm gonna be in that shit. before I see for me, I can see enough confirmation on a smaller time frame to say I'm comfortable with that move and acknowledge that price could come back and test that area. But this was your resistance area. I do think that UJ is going to continue to sell off even lower than, I mean, we hit our target yesterday, so I was already out by like target two because I don't like once price struggles, like, you know what I'm saying, and I'm trying to get it to hit like one of my other targets, I normally just take my bread and get up out of there because you can't get all the money in the market, you know what I'm saying? And especially when moves like this happen, and depending on what your risk level that you're moving at, that could have wiped you out or, made you close you out of positions, you know what I'm saying? If you didn't have your stop profit set. But I like this move for continuation. So I'd already mentioned this about UJ that we were looking for it to sell off because there was an area we came from. This area, matter of fact, exactly this gap right here. The market is definitely going to have to claim this before we even entertain the idea of the market getting bullish again. And I think after we do claim this, fill this gap, so I would expect the market to go a little bit past that. But after we do fill this gap, I would think that we're starting to look for buys. Not immediately. We need some form of confirmation of like a support structure. But yeah, I would guess that we would be buying here just off of how I view the market. This is consolidation upward. Anytime we have like consolidation, what do we need? Some type of pullback or area to test it. So it just wherever the market is going to decide to land, I think that that's going to be our support. I do think it's going to be lower than this gap, but basically when price gets into the zone, this is where we start changing our bias, where we might start looking for buy opportunities for UJ. But easy money right there. It wasn't even like the only thing, like I said, that sucks with like Forex pairs is like how slow they take to unfold. This looks like a clean move, but we know that between Sunday and today, it was all choppy before it did this. Well, I would probably say UJ was a lot cleaner, but something like EU was a lot more choppy. I mean, we spent time down here before we even broke out of here. And then price pushed us back down just to continue back up. Let me see what it looks like on the hour. So yeah, I'm confident that EU is pushing up. I'll be surprised if it does anything, but it's going to be a slow process. It's not a lot of momentum today to force the market to be pushed up, and that's crazy to me because today's Thursday, and I looked at the news. There was not a lot of news besides this morning. We had like continuous jobless claims, but unless like the president of the ECB says something, or Trump says something, or Federal Reserve says something, I see this as like a slow build. So just, be patient with it. Now, what most of you tuned in for, indices, right? We were looking at this yesterday. We were looking at indices yesterday, and I actually want to discuss the Nasdaq because we were able to spot something that put us in the right direction. Nasdaq, well, we can do this with any of the big three, but the fact that we caught it on Nasdaq was like it's just easier to discuss it. So Nasdaq, we were looking for a selling opportunity. Now, again, if you've been following our channel, you know we talk about time frames that we're looking for indices to either buy up or sell off, or what we're expecting around opening bell, things like that, right? Okay. Okay. I was making sure I wasn't talking this whole time and nothing, and I was on mute. That would have been crazy. But anyway, so yesterday, well, let's kind of double back. Like again, if you've been following our channel, you know that we discuss open and bell a lot when it pertains to indices, right? So within open and bell, once the market starts showing it's trending, we look for opportunities around opening bell and then like around 9:45 and then like around 10 a.m. That normally gives us the directional bias of what the market is trying to do. Now, you can see that yesterday the market sold off from this area. This is the 9:45 candle. So what you would do is really, I would have already been in this trade yesterday, but if you do, waiting for the confirmation is a little bit better because you got a lot more clarity. So this told us what the market was trying to do today. So we sold off. There was an opportunity to catch a sell within the 15-minute time frame. So the reason why I was even looking for sales for the Nasdaq was because that opening bell, I don't like when opening bell gets bullish or bearish right at opening bell. So 9:30, you see like a major bull move or a major bear move. So for me, even if I was confused on the direction, that kind of puts the light bulb in my head, like saying that, okay, since price got extremely bullish, normally what opening bell does is that it's trying to get to whatever form of structure as fast as possible. That's why we see those lightning moves, and it seems like we just lost a bunch of money or you gained a bunch of money in like an instant. Because is that the fire alarm? Oh my gosh, yo. Give me a second real quick, y'all. All right, my bad, my bad. Where we at? Am I still showing my? Okay, man, I lost my train of thought doing that. Okay, so with opening bell, whenever it gets, if we were looking for it to sell, it's a good thing that we see it get bullish immediately at opening bell. So at 9:30 on the dot, it's a good sign. It may not seem like that if you're on the receiving end, but that's actually a good sign. Oh, excuse me. So we identified what we've seen consistently, which is the 9:45 candle. If you're looking at a reaction from the market, normally with indices, it'll be around like 9:45, 10 a.m. So within that block time, you look for whatever direction that your bias was telling you. Hopefully you're correct. But normally we see what market gets bullish around opening bell or extremely bearish. And that's telling you that okay, price is trying to get to whatever form of structure or the last support area or the previous low or the previous high that the market broke out of. So it can test it as fast as possible, discard that information, and then continue to market in that direction. We've seen that a lot. How many times have you got your head bust open with indices just for it to go in your direction and you look at it either the next day or hell in the following hour? You're like, I can't believe that thing. Like, yeah, it's designed to do that. So us knowing that, I identified what the 9:45 candle. Now I identified it before it broke out of this area, so I think let me see. Yeah, so it just kept breaking out. It was like closing in this area, but it actually sold a lot deeper, and that created the low we needed. So I told one of my people from the community that, yo, if it closes below this, it's probably selling the rest of the day. And it didn't necessarily sell the rest of the day. It just sold to 10, and then you had another opportunity around here. But what's important is that now that we have this information, just using that simplicity of like what we just discussed, we have information for today. You know what I'm saying? Now I can slide this box over, which was the 9:45 candle. Now I don't always slide the box over. Like I normally just identify the 9:45 candle by boxing it up, and then that's enough data for me. But look where price test back to today. Look where we got bullish and look where we fell from. This is giving you the confirmation on what you needed from yesterday because price is basically saying that I'm closing. One, it's telling you that, well, as long as the market is still selling today, it's telling you that I've already sold from the high of yesterday. Yes, this was yesterday's high. So keep it simple when you're looking at it on a daily time frame. And I'm already selling from the high of yesterday. So if I close below this box, I don't even have to keep selling. If I close below this box, this is probably indicating that the market is coming down a lot lower than what, everybody expected. So this is giving you that what resistance structure that you needed just based off of that 945 candle. Like that's an amazing thing for us to be able to utilize that. Now, the part is that you would have to wait for is for price to see if price is going to test that area again. I wasn't sure if price was going to test this area, but I wasn't trading the Nasdaq neither. But now that I see this information, I could have taken that sell that we had just now, and I'm pretty confident that we're going to continue selling off. Now, again, you can use this on the reverse. Like if price broke this area, so if price was to shoot up for whatever reason around like let's say because normally this is where price would get like bullish if it wasn't selling off. It would be around like anywhere from 1300 to 1500. So that's 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. If you started seeing bull momentum and price broke this area, that's a clear indication that we violated one, this resistance, but also just the sell pattern overall because price needed to stay. This is the high of yesterday, but also price needed to stay below this candle specifically. That's something we identify. That's not something that you can learn like outside of digital goats or whatnot. I mean, if somebody is able to teach that or has spot that, that's amazing as well. But that's something that we utilize. So it's not something that you're gonna Google and it's like the 945 candle. No, that's digital goat's own method. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so you're seeing that price is selling off right now. I mean, it's clear as day, and we're getting to the point where we're starting to see the market make more trend moves than these like consolidation moves and this kind of noise bullshit. So even just seeing this, even if you were confused, like that's the confirmation saying that yeah, I'm trying to sell off. The only thing is where price going to pull back in correlation to this candle. So if I'm looking at the Nasdaq, and we were already expecting this anyway, because we were looking at buy zone for indices. So we were looking for indices to come a little bit lower. And the fact that the market has been playing underneath this gap, that kind of has my eyes like it's probably gonna respect this gap by like pushing down in order to find a support structure to buy back up. That's all we're looking for because we've already seen that indices is, I mean, we've been knew that last year. It's just that if there's opportunity to catch the sales, that are major moves, not just like short intermediate moves. Like we're going to take advantage of that, right? So again, if I'm looking at Nasdaq to sell, then I'm probably looking at S&P to sell. If I'm looking at S&P to sell, I'm probably looking at US 30 to sell. Now, US 30 is the oddball out the three right now. Normally it's the Nasdaq. So I see that US 30 has been showing like bullish pressure to the upside still, but each time it's been kind of building this resistance, which we've seen before, and then price bust out through the opposite side. But the only thing that we're looking for a price to just test a little bit lower in order for us to buy back up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not necessarily gonna be enticed by the sell for US 30. I don't even let me see how it reacted up here. You see how like US 30 is not as clean as NASDAQ and S&P, very chaotic right now, especially with how it's creating these wicks on these smaller time frames. Yeah. Just the 945 candle. This was opening bell. So price stays below opening bell right here, which this is the opening bell candle. That's telling you the direction for the rest of the day. And we're seeing this. We look like we had a short pullback. Once I saw this information right here, to me, price was to the moon. I mean, not to the moon, to the downside in order for us, again, I don't know where the Nasdaq would land, but I would like to think that it would either create support here or test the previous high to continue its sequence. That's all that we're looking for, and that's why I'm not even like entertaining the sell because I don't want to get caught with my pants down. No pun intended. You know what I'm saying? Consolidation, but the fact that this is consolidating that resistance, I would look at price to, like I said, test this area. We already have where we're expecting price to possibly drop back to. We just got to see if price is gonna drop. So I haven't taken any sales, which I'm kind of mad because NASDAQ was a clean sell this morning. That was a clean move this morning too. See that? That's the 945 candle with us extending it. Then let's take a look at our friend Bitcoin. So yeah, I'm still looking at Bitcoin to come down. They would have to show me like a big bull move, and I wouldn't say like big, but just something that could like push out of these highs, and then I would kind of start being like, all right, we're probably back on a bull move, but the way it's looking is that it's going to continue pushing down. Um, we may have one more push down. Like I said, I would at least like to see 50K. I do think that these are good areas to at least start investing in, but price could definitely get pushed down lower. So I wouldn't try to invest like aggressively, but we are our next stop because we did reach 65K. We are looking for the market to see if it'll push down to 50K or 55K. And then maybe we might start getting some bullish momentum from there because I would be in line with this area, which makes sense to me, especially dealing with this pattern. But who knows, to be honest. I'm not gonna act like I'm an expert when it comes to crypto. I just follow what the technicals tell us, and we've been pretty much on point with that. So that's what I'm looking at for crypto. So obviously, when I'm looking at Bitcoin, you would have to look at what other currency token, I mean, what other crypto token that you're looking at. But I think that, Bitcoin starts getting bullish, that it's going to influence the behavior of other crypto tokens, stable coins, altcoins, things like that. They might start going on a bull run. So just pay attention to stuff like that. But that's all I got. I mean, we kind of basically made our money before we even got to today. So just with what we discussed, like it was a pretty good week so far. Not as good as we want it to be, but definitely a good week so far. So that's all I got, traders. Thank you everybody for participating. If you caught the live, I appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button, comment, and obviously y'all know subscribe. But I'll catch you on the next video with Digital Goats Academy, which everybody knows that'll be our weekly review. So that'll be towards Sunday, but YouTube, y'all get that probably like Monday or Tuesday. Obviously, my community, you know where to meet me. But again, I hope y'all made a lot of money. I hope y'all continue to make a lot of money, and I'll see you on the next video. I'm Antoine Farrar signing off. Peace.